Assalamu alaikum to you all. Very heavy topic. Some of the stuff has been actually said by some of our panelists. I will try not to touch on those again. Before I start my topic, since it's related to marriage, I'd like to talk a little bit about myself. I got married at a very young age, 17. My husband was also very young. We were both students right after high school. So I actually continued my education very slowly on a part-time basis, whereas I wanted my husband to finish because he was closer to his degree. After we had our kids, within 4 years, I did graduate from college and I went to university, but I just wanted to do it part-time at night, taking one course, where my kids were one and a half and 2.5 at that time. My husband encouraged me to take it full-time because he felt that it would take too long and he would help with the kids whenever possible. I wanted to actually just spend my time devoted to my kids and family and husband and do the education later. But thanks to my husband and his support, I was able to complete my undergraduate degree within 4 years. I just wanted to point this out. It goes to show you that as the marriages in Islam are portrayed where man is superior and the woman is inferior, it is not so. Actually, I hope that I'm able to get rid of all these misconceptions that we may have sometimes, where the woman actually in Islam is treated beautifully with comfort and man has most of the responsibilities, whereas the woman doesn't have as much because she's a woman. So I'll start my topic about marriage, divorce, and children, beginning with what is the intention of marriage? What is the intention? Be it marriage, divorce, or children. If the intention is right, then all is well. The right intention in Islam is to please God, therefore attain paradise. In pleasing Him, we please everyone else, including ourselves. God is all-wise and all-knowing. So this all-wise has laid some guidelines to make life easier for us in every phase of life. And I will briefly be touching upon these guidelines related to marriage, children, and divorce. Marriage in Islam is actually a social contract as well as a spiritual bonding of two individuals, as stated by Dr. Imrān. Spiritually, God has placed mercy and love into the hearts of man and wife. Our Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, has stated, marrying completes half your faith. Why? Because it makes you selfless, such as providing for family and sharing with your spouse, therefore contributing to society. There must be mutual respect and love for one another. Socially, the husband and wife sign a contract in which they may add conditions and clauses to which they must both agree. If they do not agree to these clauses, then the marriage cannot take place. Although men and women are created equally by the Creator, their roles and responsibilities in marriage are different. The responsibility mostly falls on the man to be the primary caretaker. He must provide for his wife financially, emotionally, and physically. He's also responsible for the children's upbringing, including spirituality. On the other hand, the woman's obligation is to provide companionship. As Dr. Imrān mentioned, Prophet Adam and his wife. Adam was created first and Eve was created later. She was created for companionship, nothing more than that. The woman's obligation is to provide companionship, thereby giving him comfort and peace. She's not obligated to do any household chores, or to serve her husband, or to take care of the children. As most people usually think that the woman just serves her husband, cooks and cleans, and takes care of the kids, which is not so. This all falls upon the man. If the wife does help, it is out of love, not compulsion. She even has the right to ask for and receive domestic help. She's even allowed to ask for money for nursing her newborn. Needless to say, most women are, although totally to raising their children with love and patience. Financially, the man is responsible for everything, whereas the woman can do as she pleases with her earnings. She is not obligated to contribute to the household, but she can if she wants to. As far as arranged marriages are concerned, which is, there's no such concept in Islam. There is no such thing as arranged marriages, quite the contrary. The man and woman must have developed some sort of acquaintance before marriage. Parents cannot force their children to be married. They must have the consent of their son and daughter. It is actually forbidden in Islam to marry without one's consent. However, parents are allowed to look for and introduce potential spouses to their children. And along with that is the ages of marriage. There is no specific age given in marriage, but there are recommendations. It is preferred to marry earlier than later. Otherwise, one is free to marry whenever they choose. Children. Children are a very important part of the family structure. And according to God in the Quran, they are the wealth of a family. Why wealth? Because they carry on their parents' legacy. Thus, as parents, we must raise them to be the best of citizens because it is an ongoing cycle of generations. God will judge us on our deeds, not our status or our degree. Deeds that we do while we are alive and deeds that we leave behind when we die. A child's character is one of those deeds which we leave behind to the society. Again, there is no preference of gender in having children. Male and female are equally loved and wanted. The girl is a mercy from God, whereas the male is a blessing from God. Another important point I'd just like to point out is if parents raise a female well and get her married respectfully, God has promised heaven. As children grow, not to mention that, not that if you don't raise your voice, you still go to heaven. As children grow strong and responsible, parents grow weak and dependent. It is obligated for the children to take care of their aging parents. God has said, pray for your parents and be humble to them. Do not raise your voices, for they have taken care of you. Especially to the mother. The preference is 3 times more than the father because she carries the child and sacrifices her comfort. Children must listen to their parents as long as it does not contradict God. After God, their duty lies towards their parents. Divorce. Divorce is frowned upon by God, even though He has permitted it. There are 3 types of divorce which are permitted. One where man divorces, the other where a woman asks for a divorce, and a mutual divorce. And these rights, as Rania pointed out, were given many years before, thousands of years before, by God. The conditions for divorce may vary from case to case. Some of the specific reasons mentioned may be if a man does not financially provide for the woman, purposely, of course. A divorce is in place. If a woman, and even the minute reasons such as if a woman is not attracted to her husband and is repelled by him, she can ask for a divorce. Of course, the obvious reasons are there too, adultery and abuse and whatnot. Islam has also outlined a few steps before one decides to divorce. First, they can get a mediator from both the families and try to resolve the conflict, since divorce is really not liked by God. It should be the absolute last resort. If that doesn't work, then separate and analyze yourselves and reflect. Finally, if all else fails, divorce can be taken. Of course, these are just some suggestions that are made. Other helpful methods may be used to help in conflicts. Basically, God prefers that a couple should try out every channel possible to avoid divorce, especially when children are involved. If divorce does take place, it is encouraged for both man and woman to get remarried, whereas a lot of people often think that once the woman is divorced, she shouldn't get remarried, but they should get remarried because there is a need for companionship. There is a need to go on and to contribute and to carry on. And there I come to my last point, that marriage actually in Islam is just like any other marriages. It's a spiritual bonding, it's love and respect. And without doubt, of course, if the couples have the two prerequisites, which is consciousness of God and love, they would carry through to their destination. But if these two prerequisites are lacking, then already their foundation is weak, and intentions are weak, and energy is low. Helping to attain paradise will be difficult, if not possible. Whereas, if they do grow with challenges and have these two prerequisites, provide strength to one another, with success, they will carry on this legacy to their children, which will reflect in the family and society. Thank you for listening to me.